Kia ora, and welcome to this webinar on exporting from the Pacific Islands. Our goal today is to provide guidance on accessing formal markets and helping businesses take the necessary steps to meet international standards and expand their reach. To enter formal markets, businesses typically need to obtain certifications that align with their customers' requirements. While this process takes time and investment, the rewards can be significant, offering greater order volumes, assured payments, and lasting relationships with clients. I'm Angela Kennedy, the in-country manager for Business Link Pacific, or BLP, as we know it, in the Cook Islands, representing the Cook Islands Chamber of Commerce. Business Link Pacific is a private sector development program that's funded by New Zealand Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade, and it's delivered by DT Global. Through our network, we connect small to medium businesses in the Pacific with quality approved service providers across more than 15 business advisory areas. With an increasing number of inquiries about exporting, we wanted to bridge the gap by connecting businesses with expert guidance in this space. If you're working with a BLP approved business advisor, our program can help subsidize certification costs, making it more affordable to meet formal market requirements. Joining me today is Dion Palu from Quality Solutions, based in Vanuatu. Dion is an approved business advisor in the BLP network. He specializes in export and market linkages, as well as standards and certification services. The BLP program is committed to supporting small to medium businesses in the Pacific, and through this initiative, Dion and other partner advisors can apply for subsidies on behalf of businesses, covering up to 50% of service costs. With over 20 years' experience as an auditor across the Asia-Pacific region, Dion and his team provide consulting and training to help Pacific-based businesses navigate standards and certification with confidence. We will share a quick introductory video with you about Quality Solutions and what 3 of their clients have to say. Then I'll hand it over to Dion, and I'll be back at the end for any questions.
Hi, my name is Dion Palu. I'm the owner of Quality Solutions, and we are based here in Port Vila, providing services for the local exporters and businesses. Basically, we help them to meet international standards.
We produce kava powder, dry kava powder, and instant kava powder, mainly for the export market. Being certified just helps us to break into a lot of different markets overseas. So to help us get certified, Quality Solutions came and helped us to set up our manuals, work out our critical control points for the HACCP audit, get the facility up to standard, so we had to make a few changes. But they were a great help to us, really professional in their work, and they were very dedicated to their job.
So benefits were business lo dynamic emi custom lo site lo ASAP certified emi improve product quality and quality consistency. Lo PF lo dynamic mi follow one talent thank you too much lo Quality Solution we emi sabe kifan lo dynamic lo sabe improve business ika mantap lo one standard more level whereby all customers only satisfy all customers flow dynamic.
Actually, we went for the ASAP certification to try to reach the market of piano. At that time, to be able to sell the chocolate on board, we needed to have an international food safety certificate. So that's why we went for the ASAP certification. Actually, the Applied Solution, they help us to get all the document ready. We have a volunteer helping us to set up the manual, and Applied Solution help us to be actually meeting the requirement for the ASAP certification.
Yes, I'd like to say thank you to all our past clients who we have helped to access the export markets. And we wish them all the best. We are continually working with them, and we hope to help more businesses to access those export markets. Thank you. Webinar here is to understand that there is a difference between the informal market and the formal markets. And as you could see there, those three clients, they wanted to access obviously the formal markets because formal markets require certification. These formal markets could be a variety of different markets, including the cruise ships that Island Chocolate had been trying to access, as well as overseas markets. But the cruise ship market is quite unique because they're coming straight to our doorsteps, and we basically just take the goods and load it onto their onto the vessel. So, obviously you're saving on freight there. It's just taking your product to the wharf. Clients with international standards and certification. So for the international market, obviously it's a lot bigger than the local markets, and that's why it's interesting to know that for a big company like Nestle in Switzerland, Nestle only sells 5% of their products domestically. They sell 95% of their products to overseas markets. So that's a little piece of information that not many people are aware of. Okay, so I'd like to just see how we could get some feedback from you. I should have mentioned this earlier on, is that because we're recording this session, we're going to see who will give us the most feedback during this webinar. It's not going to be just myself talking to you. We need some interaction going on with the webinar. So for those who will give us the most, we will offer a half-day consulting a service for free, so that we can talk through your challenges and your issues to see whether certification is for you. So the first poll, or I would say just type your answers in chat box. The question we have here is, how is the local market affecting your sales? For you as a service provider or a producer of products in your different countries, whether it's Solomons or Samoa or Fiji, is the local market sufficient for you, or are you looking to expand your sales to the export market? So for those of you who have access to the chat box, please, I'll give you 30 seconds to see whether you could let us know what do you think of the local market. If you can just say the local market is sufficient or it's insufficient for your sales targets. So please just go into the chat box and say what your thoughts are, whether your current local market is enough for your revenue targets, or are you looking at seeking the larger export market? Angela, do you see? Oh, okay. Yeah, we've got one response there from. Okay. Yes, AI. Obviously, you can access a lot of the whole globe with AI. Yeah. Anyone else would like to put in a comment or a response whether the local market is? Oh, okay. You're based in Samoa, but is the local Samoan market enough for your revenue needs over there in Samoa? Or do you think that the local market is too limited for us Pacific Island businesses? Yes. Okay. So I think the comments coming through, it's telling us that our local markets, whether it's Solomons or Vanuatu or Tonga or the Cooks, it's a small market. It's something that we have to live with. But sorry, I shouldn't say that. It's something that we need to overcome by accessing those excess export markets. Okay, thank you. Thank you for your responses there. Let's move on, Angela. Okay, so there's a challenge, and I'd like to present this Bible verse with you. In the Pacific, we are deeply religious, and I'd like to share this from Matthew chapter 7, verse 7. And it says, "You ask, and it shall be given to you. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it will be opened to you." So again, everyone who's joining us this morning, I'd like to thank you for coming and asking and seeking and knocking on the doors, because I hope at the end of this webinar this morning, we can give you solutions that you can take back home. Thank you, Angela. Now, what certification to international standards means for businesses? It addresses a few of the problems that we're facing here in the Pacific. And as you can see on the left side, we got problems of the informal and local markets. Sales are low and sales are slow. Oh, that rhymes. As well as there's food insecurity. Who here, obviously we're in the Pacific, a lot of the Pacific Islands import we're net importing countries. We're importing far too much and exporting very little. And in the sense where we have a hurricane or a cyclone or a natural disaster, we see that a lot of our Pacific Islands are relying on others to feed us. But food security is the ability of a country to feed itself. We'll talk about that more as we go through the webinar. There's a lack of awareness of standards here. And as what we found when I visited, I did visit Samoa last month, and we had an actual seminar there. And the feedback I got from our Samoan brothers and sisters is that there is a lack of awareness of standards from the group that attended the seminar. And also the cost of certification and upkeep, that's a challenge for us Pacific Island businesses. We've seen in the past some clients that have got certification, but they did not renew it or retain it because of the cost. Now, if you look on the right-hand side here with the solution, if we're able to access those export markets, they are huge markets. We've spoken to a few markets from Australia. You know, if we decided to plant and use all the arable land here in Vanuatu, we would never be able to supply the market in Australia. So the market outside of the Pacific Islands is huge. So why not access those markets? The other thing with payments, for those who are exporting to family, friends, and the informal market, there are challenges with getting payments, and we can put our hands up and say yes. Payment is an issue when we're, sending products and selling services to families and friends. But when accessing the formal market, payment is confirmed. Payment is sure. The other benefit, of course, when we're dealing with food security, when we're able to export in volume, we're able to also cater for the domestic market. So that in itself addresses food security for Pacific Island nations. And with us, Quality Solutions, what we've decided to do is to have people on the ground in the different countries that we're working with, so that they're able to give you quick and customized to the context of the country solutions that you can use to quickly get certified. They all work under our system based out of Vanuatu, but they are on the ground. So at the present time, we do have people in Tonga, and we are working with someone in the Solomons. Okay, next slide. Thank you, Angela. Yes, this empty container is a very familiar, I would say familiar picture to all of us in the Pacific, where the containers coming into our countries are full, but the containers going out look like that photo over there. So the challenge for us this morning is how can we fill these containers? Okay, page 9. Yes, thank you. Thank you, Angela. So another request for your feedback here this morning. If you look at credible assurance and certification, there's 3 stages. There's self-declaration, where you're saying, yes, I am the best freight forwarding company. Yes, I'm the best AI consulting company. Or yes, I'm the best cover supplier out of the Solomons or Vanuatu. That's first person declaration. The second party one is when you get your clients to write nice reference letters or testimonials to say that yes, this supply is one of the best. Please purchase from them, or we refer them to you. But then there's the third level of certification, which is a third party who's independent, not a customer or a client, but who's totally independent from your organization, saying that yes, this supplier or this service provider meets a certain certification or a certain quality standard. Okay, so the second question I'd like for you to answer through the chat box is just put in 1, 2, or 3 to see which one of the 3 you are currently using. 1, 2, or 3, or a combination of. Okay, I'll give you 30 seconds. Please go into the chat box and just type in 1, 2, or 3, or a combination. Thank you. Okay, yes. Oh, very good. Donna's got 1 and 2. Havana's 2, heading towards 3. Anyone else? Yes. Oh, Janice. Thank you, Janice. 1 and 2. Anyone else would like to go into the chat box? Yes. First person. Yeah. Okay. Number 2. Thank you, Sweet Rush. Okay. First person. Okay. Yeah. That's good to see. We all have to start from number 1, I have to say. That's where we started ourselves. Okay. Okay, we'll close that one. Let's move on. Thank you, Angela. Okay, so our journey started in 2012. So that's 13 years ago, when we had been approached by a company in Tonga called Tinopai Farms. So this family-owned business, it was the father and the mother and 1 son. So a family-owned business and about 5 workers. So 8 of them. They had been exporting coconuts to Australia and New Zealand for a few years before 2012. But when 2012 came, the buyers in New Zealand and Australia said, we are not going to buy any more coconuts from you unless you get this HACCP certification. So I can clearly remember the day when Nafiaki came and said, hey, Dion, please, if we don't get this certification, I'm afraid we're going to shut down the business, because that's our only market, is this export market to New Zealand and Australia. So I could feel in the tone of his voice that it was very serious for this family business to make sure that they get certification. So what we decided to do was we sat down with the team and developed their food safety system, documented it, trained the staff, got the auditor in from New Zealand to come and do the audit, close the audit, and they got certified. And was to export mature husked coconuts. You can see there that's a 20-foot container being filled for export. I think there's over 700 or 800 bags that can go into a container. And they are still in business. They've diversified to created coconuts and frozen taro. So through that certification that they got in 2012, they've been able to sustain the business, maintain their export market, and diversify. Thank you, Angela. Another export company based here in Vanuatu, they are exporting mainly to New Caledonia and to the European markets. They sought our assistance in 2022 to get certified to maintain those markets for their kava export. That's one facility based here in Efate, and he is still exporting, and he cannot get enough supply to supply his buyers, and he's a very good operator of kava or exporter of kava at the moment, especially into the pharmaceutical industry. Thank you, Angela. This is an exporter out of Santo Island here in Vanuatu, and he processes frozen fruits. So that includes things like passion fruits, bananas, pineapple, fruits that he purchases, that he grows on his own farm, but he also buys from other farmers. His target market is Australia and the US. So with this certification that we got him in 2021, he's able to access those export markets. Yes, thank you. Next slide, Angela. Lapita Cafe, that was last year. We assisted a cassava flour exporter based out of Santo, Red Corner, to export their cassava flour. So she attended the there's a huge food festival in Melbourne every year. The name escapes me. But when she went there with her certification, and the buyers were talking to her, what they found was that the buyers in Australia wanted about, I think it was about 6 tons a month. But her facility could only produce, I think it was 1 ton a month. So what it tells us here is once you have your facility and your export operation certified, you'll be exposed to a huge market that at times some are overwhelmed by with the demand. So I think it's a good problem to have, that the demand outweighs the supply that you have. So you can negotiate on price, and you can look at expanding your facility. And that's cassava, and cassava grows everywhere. And she's managed to build a facility that processes that cassava into cassava flour. Thank you, Angela. If you could move on. Okay. In 2022, we had another kava exporter, Monaro. They were certified, and what we found from their feedback was that their sales had, I think, not doubled, but tripled. Because there were commercial buyers buying up their kava, and they had to produce a lot more volume to deliver. Numbers. The second example there, Dynamic Supply. They actually an importer and a retailer of food for the hotelier industry. So for the resorts and the hotels here in Vanuatu, they're the biggest supplier of the food that's imported from New Zealand and Australia to those hoteliers. And certification has helped them to maintain that preferred buyer status with the big hotels and the resorts, and even the cruise ships. So the dynamic team are able to put local produce onto the cruise ships because they are certified, and that can range from coconuts to from pineapples to even sweet potato or kumara. And I'd like to mention that with Dynamic, for them to get certified, we had worked together with BLP. So Dynamic had engaged BLP, and through them, we were able to come in and get and assist them with their HACCP certification back in 2022. And they are still certified, and they're maintaining their certification. Val Pacific, they export our frozen beef, our grass-fed beef. Obviously, it's organic. We don't put any hormones or any medicine on with the beef that we're exporting out of Vanuatu. Yes, thank you, Angela. If you could go on there. Another kava exporter. She's the first female kava exporter out of Santo to be HACCP certified, and she's got a small facility. Again, a family business, family owned, and they received certification late last year. So it's enabled her to access more markets, especially out of the US. Thank you, Angela. Okay. Okay, the certifying bodies that we use Bureau Veritas. They are a very large certifying body out of France, actually, because here in Vanuatu we have the Francophone and Anglophone. We are dealing with a French certifier for Francophone clients. They prefer using a French certifying body, but they have offices in Australia, in Melbourne, and in Auckland, in New Zealand, as well as TELAC. They're owned by the New Zealand government. They're the largest certifier in New Zealand, and we have clients for them in Fiji, Vanuatu, New Caledonia, and Tonga. And that's the certifying body that I used to work as an auditor for a few years back. So I'm focusing more on consulting rather than auditing. Yes, but I had, I think, spent nearly 7 years working with them as an auditor based in the Pacific. Thank you. Okay, export pathway. So in terms of exports, that first photo there, obviously that's the farm, that's the farmer. He harvests his product, brings it to a pack house, and this pack house here has to be the pack house that is certified. At the moment, we're dealing with a few clients that are designing their pack houses to meet the HACCP standards, and that is one of the services that we can offer. Because obviously, if you're designing a pack house that is not going to meet the standards, you're going to have issues of very expensive problems in terms of having to break down walls and move rooms across. It's going to be a very expensive exercise if you don't engage people like ourselves to assist you to design the pack house so it meets the requirements the first time around. Then from the pack house, it goes to the biosecurity team in country, then is exported over to wherever it is going to, Australia, New Zealand. And then the key thing here, if you can see, there are two markets when it gets across the border in New Zealand or Australia. You've got the informal market. That's a photo of, I think that's Otara food market, where you can just take your taro or your cassava or whatever products that you may have, and sell it to the public. Or there is the formal market, which is people like Woolworths or Countdown or Coles or Woolies and Pack and Save. So these are the formal markets that will give you a higher price. Because if you're thinking of the farmer and the exporter on the left-hand side, what do you think they'll be looking for? They'll be looking for a a buyer who's going to give them a high price, but also at a higher volume of sales. So if you can jump into the chat box again and just indicate there whether you have a formal market or you are still in the informal market. I'll give you 30 seconds. Please, if you can jump into the chat box and indicate, just type in formal or informal or okay, yes. Hannah, okay. Heritage Kawa, you got a formal market already. Oh, very good. Anyone else? Informal, yes. Henry and Bianca Herman, thank you. Keith Kipma, yes, still in the informal market. Donna Marie, wait, informal, domestic. Anyone else? Are you, so the question is, are you still in the informal or have you moved over to the formal market? Okay. So I can see a lot of the responses here are telling us that a lot of you are still in the informal market. And again, like I said earlier on, the issue with the informal market is the payment issue and the price issue and the volume issue. Thank you. Thank you, Angela, if you can move us on to the formal markets. So to get into the formal market, there are standards that they require. And I've gone over and sat down with them and met with them over in New Zealand, and we speak with them in the Australian market. And these are basically what they are looking for is HACCP certification. There's actually another standard that's a bit higher and more stringent that has it, but for the Pacific Islands, they've made it a little bit easier for us because they understand the products coming out of the Pacific generally low risk. We're not selling high risk food products as such to these markets. So HACCP is the standard that most markets in New Zealand and Australia will accept. For the service sector, if you could please, can you go into the chat box and indicate any of you who's in the service sector and not in the product sector? Are there any of you in the service industry? Okay, and I know Janice is. She's in the freight forwarding business. Is there anyone here in the service sector? Okay, yes, AI, of course, that's a service. And okay, Donna Marie, wait, okay. I'm sorry, Donna, what sort of services do you offer? We'll put you on the spotlight here, Donna. Yes, if you could just indicate what sort of servicing or services you offer or you're trying to sell. Okay, business support. Okay, yes. Yes, so we're in that same category as well. We are a service provider. However, like I said, with ISO certification, it's given us access to markets in the Solomons and in Tonga because they recognize our ISO certification. So the formal markets here are your Woolworths for those in food. The cruise ships, like I said, once you're certified to HACCP, the cruise ships accept your products onto the cruise ship. And when they order from the cruise ships, then you're not talking about a basket, you're talking about a truckload. I'll repeat that again. They're not ordering a basket, they're ordering a truckload. So the last water bottling company we assisted here in Vanuatu to get certification, when they loaded the cruise ship, it was in the amount of a 40-foot container. So that's, imagine that a 40-foot container sail per cruise ship. So it's a bit mind-boggling sometimes when you access these formal markets. And also the hoteliers here, Again, when I spoke about dynamic, when they got certified, it got them to a level where they were the preferred supplier for all the hotels, the local hotels, rather than the suppliers that were not certified. Thank you, Angela. Okay, so the certification standards, we've got food safety, which is HACCP, and then we got organic certification. So we can offer both. Anyone who's in the cocoa industry will know that if you are certified to organic standards, you can get a higher price from your buyers. And that's well known across the cocoa industry. And I can see in the Solomons, there's a lot of cocoa there, as well as here in Vanuatu. It's also a technical barrier to trade under the World Trade Organization's definition. So these certifications are issued by certifying bodies, like I said, the TELAC and Bureau Veritas. There are obviously others, and it's all based on risk. So the higher risk your product is, it will mean that the audit will take a bit longer and will cost you a little bit more. And some of these standards are starting to include social justice. What that means is that, for example, with organic certification, when we go and do organic certification, I used to be an organic auditor in past life. We're also asking whether the business owner is paying a fair amount to its suppliers. So that's what social justice means, and welfare, and that's starting to become more prevalent. So your investment will depend on your product risk. Obviously for coconuts, it's a lower risk product than poultry. Thank you, Angela. Okay, HACCP certification. Again, this is a standard that's being issued and published from our friends in Rome by Codex Alimentarius, which is a commission issued by the managed by the FAO and the WHO. So HACCP, that's why it's a global standard, because it's issued out from those two global bodies, the FAO and WHO. So the idea behind HACCP is it's a preventive system. It makes sure that your food, rather than testing it at the end, the process that you use to make that food, we make sure that the controls are there to prevent it becoming an unsafe product. It's based on risk and science, and it has to be documented. So a lot of what's up here, business owners, has to be brought down and written down as a documented procedure. It also emphasizes a positive safety culture. So it's not just that you have the book and you forget about it. You have to have that behavior, the attitude, and the belief to actively follow the procedure on a day-to-day basis, not just before the auditors come, if you know what I mean. And it's reviewed regularly. Yes, Angela. Okay, sorry, if we could just go back to that previous slide. Sorry, Angela. Another poll question or a chat box question. How many of you have documented your procedures or your processes? Can you just jump in and say whether you started to document some of your processes or procedures to make sure that your staff are continually, consistently following them? Just say yes or no. Who here has documented their systems or processes? Okay. Okay, Masasamaki, yes, he's documented his. Janice, yes, your processes are documented. Anyone else has gone as far as documenting their systems to ensure consistent service delivery? Yes, of course you can say no. Oh, yes, Harry and Bianca, starting to, yes, no, not yet. No, okay, yeah. So, like I said, as business owners, when we start a business, a lot of it is up here, if you can see me. But to get to these international standards, we have to take what's up here and put it down to paper. And you'll see the benefits when you start doing that is that your services can become more consistent, and your staff can be more productive, because everything that was previously here is clearly laid out for them to follow. Okay, thank you, Angela. Let's move on. Okay, ISO certification. So this standard is probably the most well-recognized standard in the world for quality. So it focuses on things like regulations, making sure that you meet your your country laws and regulations, but as well as making sure your customer is happy. It's a system for managing quality in accordance with a standard from ISO. So ISO has some very different standards, and one of them is ISO 9001. It's based on risk, and it helps you to identify what your risks are. Because if you don't know what your risks are, these risks can become problems. And if you don't have treatment or mitigating actions to treat those risks, those problems can actually shut down your business. So what I wanted to say here is, because we are ISO certified ourselves as a consulting company, we've seen our processes over time get better and better. So, for example, previously, before we got certified, we would take about a year or a year and a half to get a client certified. But after when we got certified last year in April, we found that we were able to certify clients within 7 months. Less than a year, we were able to get one of our clients certified in 7 months. So it meant for us that our systems and our processes had improved, and our clients were happier that we were able to deliver on that service quicker and still to the standards that they wanted. Thank you, Angela. We can move on. Okay, so this is the process that you have to be aware of in terms of documenting your processes. So you have to identify who's supplying you your raw materials. Do you test them when you receive them? When you do your production, are you checking whether your staff are following your procedures? Are you making sure that your machines are calibrated and working properly? Is there an inspection step? And when you distribute it across to your customers, do you get customer feedback? Because if you're not getting feedback from your customers, you won't be able to redesign and design your products to make sure that it's improved. So it's a cycle. So with this cycle, it was developed by a famous doctor, Dr. Edward Deming, an American that was brought over to the U.S. to build up Japan. Sorry, an American that was brought over to Japan to build up Japan after the World War was finished. So what happened was that he brought this system over to Japan to help them rebuild their country's economy. And as you can see, Japan is doing quite well. Next slide, please. Yes. So the issue here, the model here is called a Plan, Do, Check, Act system. Sorry, let me just get that. The Plan, Do, Check, Act system, as you can see, it starts with planning. So planning includes documenting your processes into a SOP or a quality manual. And then after you've documented it from the plan stage, then you go ahead and do what you're supposed to do, whether it's making cocoa or kava or delivering AI services. When you're doing while you're doing your services, you have to then check whether what you said in your plan is what you're actually doing. And that's done through internal audits. If you find that there's gaps from what you said to what you're doing, then you act to correct that gap. And then from there, you then adjust your plan where you started from, and then the cycle continues onward and upward. So who here remembers a company called Kodak? Yes, we remember I think we're old enough to remember that Kodak came out with the camera that you're used to. But when the digital phone, when the digital phone camera came out, they told themselves, no, our camera with the films is a perfect product. We're not going to innovate. So they did not innovate according to this Plan, Do, Check, Act system. So the question is, where is Kodak now? They're no longer there because they did not continually improve. Let's move on, Angela. Thank you. Okay. This is a website I wanted to just show you that if you click on this website, it will take you to a register and it will show all the certified companies that are within the Pacific Islands. So you can put in Fiji or Samoa or Vanuatu or Solomon Islands to see who's certified and who's not. The last time I checked with Solomons, there were only about 3 certified organizations there. And here in Vanuatu, we've got 6. But if you look into Fiji, they've got 114. Okay. Yes, and even more in Papua New Guinea, in PNG. Let's move on, Angela. Thank you. One of our clients that got ISO certified in 2018 was this company in Tonga that produces water tanks. So when they were certified in 2018, in 2021, they were able to win this large order from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Trade from New Zealand, and as I recall, it was over 3 million New Zealand dollars. And this is a small company that started off just a mother and a father and a son and a daughter in 2018, a family-owned business that were certified in 2018, and in 2021, because they maintained their certification, as you can see, they're TELAC certified to ISO 9001. They were the preferred supplier for these large multinational, they've got orders from the World Bank, the ADB, MFED, DFED, that are multi-million dollar orders. So who here can put up their hand and say, yes, I'd like to see that for my business as well? Yes, you can put up your hand if you want to, using that hands up function. Okay. Yes. Everything is possible. Everything is possible. You just need to take the decision and move ahead and get certification. Thank you, Angela. Yes, I can see the hands coming up. That's great. I'll play this quick video. This is the system that we use for maintaining our ISO certification. Thank you.
Feeling overwhelmed by the chaos of managing compliance and ISO standards across multiple apps? Introducing the Teammate app, your one-stop solution for all your needs to implement and maintain your management system processes. With Teammate app, you can customize forms to fit your specific needs. It's a full-feature human resources tool, simplifying employee management. Comprehensive risk management tool with ease, thanks to our online reviews and reminders. Send pre-qualification and evaluation forms to suppliers and contractors in just a few clicks. Create customized online training programs effortlessly and manage employees and contractors' competency records. And stay on top of audits with customizable forms, schedule reminders, and action follow-ups. As a cost-effective solution, Teammate app boosts productivity with advanced features designed to increase your efficiency. Plus, our AI-driven dashboards and reporting tools help you stay on top of your game with the minimum effort. Getting started is easy. Set up your demo today and see how Teammate app can transform your management system processes. Our state-of-the-art mobile app makes it easy to record and access your information on the go. Ready to streamline your processes? Book your demo now and join the future of efficient compliance. Visit our website or contact our team to get started.
this software allowed us to go through our external audits. We were expecting it to take a day and a half, but because we were able to show the auditor all the audits that we've done, the internal audits, the staff training, our documentation in this software, she was able to finish the audit in less than a day. So with having these systems in place, you're able to demonstrate to your auditor how you maintain conformance to that standard, whether it's HACCP or ISO certification. Okay, this slide here is on how the ISO standards contribute to the United Nations 2030 Sustainability Development Goals. And if you're a government agency that wants to demonstrate contribution to these SDGs, by getting certified, you can actually show that in a concrete, clear way. Thank you, Angela. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, so the certification considerations you have to be aware of is you need to ask your market what they want. A lot of people just blindly go in and get a certification without knowing what their market needs. So the first thing you need to be mindful of if you want to export is talk to your market. Ask them what they want. Do they want HACCP, or do they want another standard, or do they want organic? Do they want ISO? So talk to your market, identify, be specific on what certificate you need, and then you can let us know and we'll help you. You have to be aware on the second point there of the ongoing cost. We've had people who were certified, but then on the second year when the invoice came to renew the certificate, they could not maintain it. So you have to make sure that your initial year of certification generates enough revenue so that you can continue to cover your costs. One benefit of ISO certification is that you're able to reduce your, if you talk to your insurers and say, okay, I'm going to get ISO certification or HACCP certification, how does that impact on my insurance premiums? What we found with some clients is that the insurance premiums were able to be adjusted or reduced because these standards reduce your risk exposure. So some of our colleagues in Australia have said that the cost of certification was covered by the reduction in their insurance premiums. So again, you have to be mindful of when you get certified, you have to renew it every year, and there's a cost behind it. And lastly here, management commitment, you have to commit to maintaining your certification by upholding the requirements behind it. So like we all know, quality starts from the top. So if the top management are not actively pursuing and committed to maintaining those standards, then the rest will not follow suit. Okay, let's move on. Okay, how to get certified? Who here wants to get certified at this stage? Can we put up a show of hands? Anyone? Just into the chat box. Okay. Yes, Masaka is interested in getting certification. Anyone else interested? Just with your raising your hands. Okay, all right. Masaka is sorry, Masasamaki. Masasamaki. Yeah, Hana as well. Okay, let's go through the steps quickly. The first step here is to prepare. So that includes, okay, David Boseto, yes, interested in getting, yeah, maybe next year. Okay, that's fine. You need to prepare, and that involves improving your facility and your workplace, writing down procedures and training your staff. Okay, Keith Kipma, interested, and implementing it. So obviously this is an area that we are focusing on, is helping you to prepare. One of the things, like I mentioned earlier, before you build your facility, it's important to engage people like ourselves to help you design it properly, so that you're not, removing walls or having to install drainage when it should have been installed in the first place, to avoid those expensive mistakes. So once you're ready, your staff is trained, your documented procedures are there, and your facilities are built, then we bring in the third-party auditor. he comes and does a document review of your procedures and comes on site to check whether what you said in the document is what you're actually doing. Then if they raise any findings or non-conformances, we then help you to close those findings so that you can get certified. We've helped a client in 3 months to get certified, and the thing with that client is that they wanted certification like yesterday. So they were very eager because they had the market waiting for them to get certified before they could place the order. So we were able to do that in 3 months. But then there are people who, take a bit of time and are not as responsive, who can drag it over 6 to 12 months. Thank you, Angela. Okay, so this is the the question for everyone is that we presented you the solution for a problem that most Pacific Islands are facing. And certification definitely is one that can give you access to a huge and sustained market growth. Now, all this is good and well, but it's up to you to take action. That you need to make a decision to pursue certification so that you can benefit from all these what certification has to offer. And for us, because we are ISO certified, we ourselves see the benefits. And I'll leave you with a short story from last year in December, where after we've been certified since April, and our systems had been running and our staff had been trained. But in December, I had to make a decision because my father was being taken to a medical care in New Zealand. But at that same time, we had a client that we needed to get certified on that particular week, and the auditor had flown into Melbourne. So what happened was, I obviously went to see my father, but then because we had our systems documented, our staff trained, and we were certified, this important client of ours was successfully certified. And the reason why I'm telling you that story is that through systems, you can get your time back. Because at the end of the day, why are we all running these businesses? It's to have more time with our family. And that is something that at times money can't buy. So why I always ask people, what's more important, your time or your money? For me, I think time is more important because you can always get more money, but you cannot get more time. So with these standards and certifications and systems, it allows you to systematize your business so you can run on your own, so you can spend more time with the people that are important to you. So I'd like to end there and move on to the last slide there. I think slide. Okay, so we've gone over, but sorry, Angela, are you okay to take some questions?
Absolutely, Dion. I know there's a few people with raised hands, but if you'd like to raise your hand again, if you've got questions from Dion's presentation or questions for me, if you have them.
Okay, well, I think there were quite a few. Any questions?
I think I've got one, Dion,
Yes.
which is around the size of business. Is there a particular size of business that you have to be to go and get certified? Because there's obviously an expense and there's quite a bit of time involved initially to set it up. What is the perfect size business to get certified?
Ooh, that's. I think the size doesn't really play a part. Because like I said, we had very small family businesses of 7, and even ours, where there's only 4 of us in our business. I don't think it's the size. It's your commitment to taking the next step to investing in that, because it is a business decision. It's you have to take that leap of faith. But obviously, if you have a market that's waiting for you, and you have a business family of only yourself and your partner and your children, we've had case studies of people who are able to do that. So I don't think size has anything to do with it. It's more you making a business decision to invest in certification so that you can access those larger markets. Yes. Anyone else who has a question? Oh, okay. I see Henry there has said that yes, they'll go ahead. I think we can move on to the last slide there with our contacts, Angela. If nobody else has any more questions.
And I guess just a reminder around Business Link Pacific. So Business Link Pacific are here to support businesses. We do have a network of partners, and Dion being one of those. If you are interested in getting certified or many other services that a business can have, then we may be able to subsidize some of that work that those business advisors do. So make sure you get in touch with your local countries and in terms of BLP and see what's available to you. Henry, you're from Cook Islands, so I'll get in touch with you.
Yes. Okay, and just a last question for me. Can you just in the chat box say whether you had value from this short webinar? That you received information that is valuable and useful. You can just type yes. Oh, okay. Well, thank you, Sweet Rush. Hannah, thank you very much from Heritage Cover. Anyone else with feedback? Yes, David Posetto. Oh, okay, Leola, yes. Masasamaki, Janice. Oh, okay, thank you. Again, ISO certification will be relevant for you. Henry and Bianca. Oh, okay, oh, well done. Yes, so again, our contacts are there, and you can contact us directly or through Business Link Pacific or your local chambers of commerce. And I'd like to leave a last message is that the man who does not decide is a man who will not rise. So we all have to make a decision. And yes, we will provide you with a copy of the presentation. Thank you very much. Thank you, Angela.